Guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Liquid Hotshot or Luke Bell, and we're here back with the F1 2019 career mode here at the Monaco GP as we go underway into qualifying. I just want to leave you guys a quick note. Thank you guys for all the support recently on the Minecraft stuff of things. Not for 1 second is the F1 gonna take second place, because that's what, in fairness, I do have more F1, I think, in the what we're going to call the vault than we actually do Minecraft. But anyway, we're going to jump into qualifying here, and fun fact, I actually had 0 pace around Monaco in practice. Like, I couldn't put together, I think, maybe a string of 2 straight good laps. Like, it was terrible. Clipping walls here, there and everywhere, but all of a sudden, as soon as I hit qualifying, I had the pace. In practice, I was messing around a lot with, you know, the setup and stuff like that. But yeah, like I say, I just had no pace in practice. But then qualifying, I did. So yeah, and as I'm recording, doing the postcom and editing of the Monaco GP, the 1.05 update is out. So you won't see the updated like R&D stuff, so like the performance stuff, up until in my save up until Austria, because I recorded France and Canada in the same day, and then basically I wanted to wait up until the update came out then to pump out more, because I didn't want to get kicked off or whatever. So yeah, jumping into qualifying then, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you my 2 fastest laps. I'm not going to commentate over them because there's, as we speak, there's 48 minutes worth of video. So I'm just going to try and cut that down for you guys so you don't have to watch all of it. So I'm joining you guys back here on my Q2 lap. Now in Q1, what you just saw, I waited quite a while to go out on the track, and as you saw, I went provisional pole. After accelerating the session a little bit more, it actually moved down to 6th. So that wasn't too bad, you know, showing a bit of pace there in Q1. I felt like the very first Q1 lap, I only did one, the Q1 lap was absolutely amazing, obviously because I jumped straight from practice to qualifying, and I had no pace in qualifying, but in practice, sorry, but in qualifying I did, so I was a bit, But as you saw, coming out of turn 1 there, I got quite a lot of understeer. Like, it was just a tank slapper really, like my back end just slid out, so I caught that before I whacked it in a wall. So on this lap I'm trying to push as hard as possible to try and make up that speed that I lost and gain it back in the last couple sectors here, is throwing my car through the swimming pool section, coming through into the final couple corners here. Let's see what the lap's going to be as we open up DRS, head down the back straight on the Monaco streets, and it is P9. So I think I'm going to have to go again here, but I don't know whether I go straight again, but no, this was an in lap. But yeah, as you see. But yeah, I'll come back with you on the next lap. Whether that's Q2 or Q3, I'm not actually sure at this minute.
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage. Sustain this level of damage.
Just so that I can get you guys into this race, I'm coming with you at the back end of, not the start, but the back end of my lap here in Q3. I only had one run because I only had one fresh set of softs, and it is actually P4 in the top 10 shootouts. So I knew I had pace in Q1, coming 6th. I didn't have the best of Q2s, but I got through by the skin of my teeth, as you saw in P9. But yeah, let's get into the race, shall we? Alright, so I'm back with you on the starting grid. At the end of qualifying, I did actually get a couple aero devs into going, but here we go to 5 red lights on the Monaco Grand Prix, and we're underway here with a relatively bad start. Both of the silver arrow, the silver arrow of Hamilton first, then Verstappen, then Bottas going up my inside. No wing damage through the first corner here. And obviously you can already see these guys, I think even on 65 difficulty on Monaco, they're waltzing away from me. Like, yeah, it's only lap 1. I go for a cheeky dive bomb down the inside of Valtteri Bottas. He leaves me the room, but I'm just going to slot in behind him into the hairpin. These guys, I tell you what, after playing up to Austria so far, the AI is so good this year. Like last year, I think I played on 75 on the wheel, and it was relatively easy, I want to say. But this year, like, look at that gap he's got through the chicane coming into sector 3. Like, look at that, look at how much traction he gets out and just makes up loads of times. As I get a bit of oversteer coming out of that corner, a little bit of a tank slap. I'm surprised I didn't whack it straight in a wall. But end of lap 1, we haven't, we're down into P7 from starting 4th on the grid. It's not too bad, but as Jeff says, I am boxing on the second lap here, actually, to go straight on the mediums, because my tyres that I'd pushed to get into P4 in no, because you start on your Q2 set, don't you? Yeah. So I think I did like 3 flying laps on my Q2 set, so they were absolutely melted, and I could feel the wear. You know, less grippy coming out of a corner. You know, back end sliding a little bit more because the rears were absolutely done for. Jeff's just letting me know that my engine's getting a little bit warm there, but as we come into sector 2 on the second lap, sector 2? Yeah, it must be sector 2. Is it sector 2? I'm not actually fucking sure. Yeah, it was sector 2. Anyway, we're coming through swimming pool section, not launching it as much through there this time round because I'm pitting. But yeah, I'm going to pit, and we're going to come out and basically have a bit of clean air for a bit. So I'll jump back to you for that. So I'm back with you coming to the back end of lap 6 now. On the mediums, being able to push the car a little bit. I'm not sure whether I picked up a bit of wing damage on the first half of this stint, but if I haven't, I've done a really good job, because I am not good at street circuits, as you saw at Azerbaijan. But it's all a learning curve for me on the wheel here. First effectively full season, and more I'm going to be doing on this wheel. So again, like I say, it's going to be a learning curve. Anyway, we come through over the start finish line. Daniel Ricciardo was behind me before I made my pits, so I've jumped him with a massive undercut. 4 laps there, from the softs onto the mediums. Obviously Monaco, if you get caught behind traffic, you lose a fucking butt ton of time. Anyway, you know, we're coming up to the back of the Alfa Romeo racing car of Antonio Giovinazzi, or Giovinazzi, or however you call it. I call him Giovinazzi. But yeah. And yeah, I've been able to push the car for quite some time in clean air, and I want to get through this field as fast as possible. Yes, I do understand people in front of me are going to be making pit stops, so I want to get in front of the traffic that hasn't yet, so then when they come out, I'll be in front of them, hopefully, because if Giovinazzi holds me up too much with my pace, I won't be able to get back out in front. Anyway, he held me up a little bit there in the swimming pool section. I looked for a cheeky move, but I was too far back. He pulls into pits, almost absolutely ram him up his ass. Right, that sounded right. I almost rammed him in his gearbox. Right, we're going to say that. We almost T-boned the geezer. Alright, as we come on to lap 8 now, we've got a decent amount of clean air. Rick is still behind us in his Renault, following me through this traffic, I guess you could say. But it's just a job of me putting in the consistent laps now to catch up to Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull racing car. So I'll join back with you when I'm relatively close to him. Alright, so we're here on lap 9 now. We can finally see Pierre Gasly in front of us, and he is stuck behind a massive train. In front of him, I do believe there's the 2 Williams of George Russell and Robert Kubica, and maybe a racing point of Perez, or I think it's, in my save, I think it's Devon Butler in the racing point. Anyway, my thoughts were, Gasly started in 3rd, I started in 4th. I lost a couple positions, about 3. So I don't understand why Gasly's all the way back here, unless he made an early stop and he's waiting for people to pit. But then obviously Williams, they might go on for longer because they don't have the best of downforce. But anyway, my thinking was, if I stay with Gasly, I could get some decent points out of this race, as we are now in P12, almost going to the back of Pierre Gasly there, coming round what normally is a relatively flat left-hander. Anyway, we go down the inside of Pierre Gasly, clip the curb there, unsettle the car, but we're just gonna slot back in. You know, we're gonna wait for a move. We can't be too aggressive around Monaco. There's not much room, especially with these cars nowadays. They are massive. There's not much room to make moves. Anyway, we've got 10 laps left here of the Monaco GP. You know, there's still time to work a move on Gasly. But, you know, I want to get past Gasly. I was so in the mindset, like I'm saying now, if I stay with Gasly, that would be really good for my race, you know what I mean? Don't overtake him, but get some couple points, right? I was way too aggressive in this race. As soon as I saw Pierre Gasly, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing there? That was my first, like, issue, right? Why is he so far down the field? I really want to overtake him. Like, that's what my thinking was. I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to overtake Gasly. He's in such a better car than me, etc, etc, etc. And if I finish in front of him, it'd be quite decent. Because in real life, Gasly's been struggling at the minute, especially at the Austrian Grand Prix. He did relatively well at the British Grand Prix. Qualified relatively well, but anyway, we're going to go for the same dive bomb down the inside. We're not going to clip the curve, but we're going to tap his wheel, and once again we're just going to slot in. I didn't know whether to go for a dive bomb there, but I decided not to, just because it's pointless dive bombing into the hairpin unless you want to break your front wing, and I think I did have a bit of damage at this point. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, coming through the tunnel, make sure when you come down the hill out of the tunnel, make sure you don't ride that curb, because as you're braking hard and you're downshifting, it can unsettle the car. So you don't want that to happen, because it's like a raised slanted curb on your right hand tyres, so it can really unsettle the car when you come off it and you're braking and downshifting and shit. So just be careful. As Danny Rick is still behind me. He's getting relatively closer and closer, and that's because all of us in this train are stuck. We can't make any moves. It's not working, as I get a very good acceleration for my car, to be honest. Out of that first turn, going relatively close to Gasly, I just give it a tap of brake through there, and I think, yeah, I think this is the lap where I'm going to make that dive bomb. Yes, it is. Another dive bomb. And we are going to get it. There we go, up past Pierre Gasly. Now we have George Russell, the fellow Brit, in the Williams Rocket racing car, even though, well, I see, it actually kind of does it a bit of justice. In this year's game, up until the patch, I think they are still a rocket in a straight line after the patch. Don't quote me on that, but they are fucking fast, mate. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they'll lose a lot of time in the corners, don't get me wrong, but on tracks like Azerbaijan, you could say a bit of Austria maybe, because there's a lot of straights at Austria. Yeah, there are like flat out right-handers which the Williams won't be able to handle, but there are. Austria is definitely a power circuit, and if Williams is a rocket in a straight line, then you just know, don't you? Well, anyway, Gasly's behind me, keeping me honest. I've got DRS on George Russell himself. As you can see, he gains a lot of time on the straights against my car, but then as soon as we come into a corner, he brakes early and puts on the throttle late, so I gain a lot of time, as you can see, just through that corner, which is a medium speed corner. And I'm not sure whether I go for the exact same move I went on Gasly. No, I'm too far back, but Gasly's going around the outside here. I leave him the room and he's fucking done it. What a legend. You don't really see many people go around the outside, going down the hill towards the hairpin. So you don't see many moves there, and I've got to give props to Pierre. Very good race in there. I just slot back behind him, so that was like, I think, 2 laps, short-lived, really, where Gasly like defended for like 4 straight laps in the same corner, and he just went round the outside. So yeah. Anyway, you can see Gasly getting held up by George Russell. I got a little waff of dirty air, so I step outside of it, and I almost shunted myself straight into a wall. So that was fun. And I think the Williams cars are actually on mediums. I don't know whether they started the race on mediums, because that's another story. As Pierre Gasly's going round the outside of George Russell, and he gets the job done here. It allows me just to pull alongside George Russell, and can I keep my nose in through the flat-out left-hander? Give him the room, squeeze him out. Yes, I can. He puts his nose in towards there, but you're never going to get a move done there. Anyway, me and Gasly are both up a position now. We're both into points playing positions. I think some guys in front of us may have pitted, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Gasly went round the outside. It spooked George Russell. Yes, he is a rookie. He wasn't used to that. Didn't know that was going to happen. So yeah, it unsettled him. Gasly went clean, straight around the outside. George Russell let off. I came out the corner very quick, pulled to the side, all the way up the hill, and got him done there. Good morning. My girlfriend has arrived as I am doing this post commentary. So yes. Anyway, like I said earlier, we're trying to follow Pierre Gasly through this traffic. To get some points here, as Kimi Raikkonen, the Iceman himself, the one-time world champion, pulls into the pits. So now Gasly has clean air, meaning me and Gasly can let our cars loose here around the streets of Monaco. Red Bull's gonna kind of, you know, waltz away from me in a straight line, maybe dance around in the corners like we've already seen him do with the moves he's making inside, outside, over the top, underneath. Like, he doesn't do the over the top, under. It's called exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel. You should know this by now. Anyway, following him into the hairpin, we're gonna jump back with you when there's some more exciting stuff and things to do. So on lap 16 here, you know, we're staying with Gasly, and what I've realised is we have actually, me and Gasly, with this clean air, we have had so much. We've left everyone behind effectively. It's basically there's loads of gap in front of us, behind us, as we dive down the inside into turn 1 and bang the wall. That was way too aggressive, Luke. Clip the front wing, but there's only 3 laps to go now, so let's see what we can or cannot do here as we tap the wall there. Gasly's going to go straight through, and at this point we can't fight him anymore. And we will, you know, we'll try and come home and finish the race, but we did really well with all that scrapping we were doing not to tap a barrier, and I was too late on the brakes, ladies and gents, and that's just something you've got to learn, like your braking zones and that. But yeah, that's about it for this race. I was still attempting to push hard, but there's not much you can do with a bunch of front wing damage. As you can see, we just went straight over there. We're not even gonna attempt to make that corner. As we tap the wall there, lose all our front wing, and coming through swimming pool section now. And I could have pitted, come out, but I would have been outside the points. That's what I was looking at there. But yeah, that's about it for today's Grand Prix. Yeah. So we're coming through lap 18 now, only 2 laps to go. We just got to coast this front wing damage home. Coming through swimming pool section, and I had no downforce, couldn't turn, and tapped the wall. Wheel came straight off, and I was so pissed off. I'm really pissed off with myself, because it had been a really good race anyway. We retired from the Monaco Grand Prix. We would have been in for some decent points, however that didn't happen. So yeah, that's about it, ladies and gents, and I think my engineer's going to have something to say about that. So it's just showing us our rivalry points. So actually we got 1 point there at Monaco, and we won the rivalry against Lando Norris, El Chucatoro. Obviously getting a bunch of R&D points, you know what we do, but yeah, we didn't do the best, did we? We had a really good race, but it's a shame I was way too aggressive. I should have just been, you know, weaker on the throttle, and as such, my reputation's gone down with my team and with other teams around the paddock.
What on earth was that performance? Come on, this isn't bumper cars at the fairground. Your results and conduct here matter, so pay
I
more
don't know.
attention.
Might be.
We can't afford too many races like that.
So Emma's not happy with us, as you heard my girlfriend speak there, asking if it were. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. K.HD rang me because he's a div, but he's probably like outside my house right now. But yeah, that's about it for this episode, guys. Like I said before we jumped into the race, we did do an upgrade on the aerodynamic section, or if we didn't, I'm gonna do it now. I think. I'm not even sure. No, I leave it. I think I'll leave the aero tree, but yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, comment what's your favourite part of the episode, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!